Gala group of HPE, but now you will be under this group na po. So kami na po yung makaka-interface nyo. So, okay. All right. So this is the account team. So pakita ko lang that we are led by these country leaders, country managers of each business units. So we are led by Miss Veronica Escalante or Bambi Escalante as the managing director for HPE Philippines. For the sales director, we have Randy Pobre. And for the products country manager is to be hired pa lang siya because si Bambi kasi was promoted from this position before, si Miss Veronica. And si Jake Antig yung country manager natin for Pointnext. And si Gigi yung country manager natin for the Aruba network. Because we've acquired Aruba around 6 years ago. The account team, I am yours truly. I am the enterprise account lead for the Razon Group. So together with me is our SPOC for Manila Water, our ISAM, Migs Cruz. He's in the call also. Say hi, Migs.
Hi, hello, good afternoon.
Yes. And with the solutions architect naman that's assigned for Manila Water for any solution that you may need, no? Especially for complex solutions. For example, that's Hector Yason. He's our solutions
Good
architect. Say
afternoon.
hi, Hector. Yeah. And
Good
together with
afternoon,
us
everyone.
here is Angelo Africa, our compute technology architect. For any compute specific, server specific, technical details like kung ano yung mga versions, ILO, etc. that you need to drill down to. Ayan, that's Angelo Africa here or called Alo also. So hi Alo.
Good afternoon po, everyone.
And with him is our storage naman na technology architect, no? So that's Jasper Gan. Together with him is our storage specialist naman, assigned for Manila Water. That's Eden Samonte. So both of these guys, they handle all storage, hyperconverged, and data protection portfolio of HPE. Kung si Alo kanina, he handles the server side of things. Sina Jasper and Eden handles the storage, hyperconverged, and the data protection portfolio. So,
Si Joel ba nasa HPE pa?
yes, sir, Christian. Si Sir Joel, he is now the pre-sales manager of the country. Yan. So, basically,
Okay.
sina Hector reports to him.
Okay.
So, that's good to know, sir, no, that you have encountered Joel before. Have you had a projects with Joel way back? Kasi he's been with HP 25 years na po.
Sobrang tagal na.
Sobrang tagal na.
Hindi na, yeah. Yung may previous naman, yung previous job. So, wala na si Ryan. Oh, nakita niyo pa si Ryan.
Ryan.
Godalkiver.
Yeah.
He's still in touch. Wala na siya, sir. He's in I think he's in the Udena group na siya ngayon.
Okay.
But he's still in touch. We are still partners naman with Sir Ryan. So, with that, yung the other two people, Rizal and Jeff, are not with us now, but they are for the maintenance agreements and for the Aruba naman yung dalawang yan. But to move forward, these people, Hector, Alo, and Jasper, will be the ones presenting, no, in a form in the next hour that we have the details, no, ng at least the portfolio that we have so that you can have an idea, an update also kung ano na ang meron ngayon kay HP because we have transformed from a normal parang server vendor lang talaga kami before no. Tapos we acquired 3PAR, then we acquired MSA, then we acquired Nimble, and so we've expanded all our portfolio. So there, from this discussion, at least you can get an overview na rin po, no, on what we have now moving forward. Especially to put note also on on the requirement that you mentioned kayo na Mr. Shell and Sir Christian, no, that you have this intention of refresh no, coming 2022. So ayan. So with that, I'll pass it on to Hector. Hi Hector. Yan. So that he can
Yes,
start
thank you, Mon.
at least the introduction of the HPE portfolio. And if you have questions po along the way, please don't hesitate po, no, to raise it while we're speaking para ma-address din po agad. Ayan. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Hec.
Okay, let me just share my screen. Please let me know if it's visible.
Yes.
Okay. So, Sir Christian and Ms. Rochelle, thank you very much for having us this afternoon. Again, my name is Hector. I'm the solutions architect assigned for this account, Manila Water. And today I'll be discussing edge to cloud, how HPE has transformed together with our customers para to achieve yung digital transformation and to help out customers achieve their own transformation goals. So as said earlier, HP is quite familiar. Let me just point out, get my laser pointer. So HPE is quite familiar as a company. We all knew HPE as a leader in the storage space, also a leader in the storage space, also a leader on the server space, and with the acquisition of Aruba, a leader on the campus and networking space. So also leader din po sa high performance compute, having 41% of global top 100 supercomputers. So we all know this as the familiar HPE, the HPE that's known to all of us. However, as the pace of change has continually gotten faster and faster, so yung experiences and the demand to always be connected, and of course yung demand to be real time always, has led us to undergo transformation as well together with our customers. So 82% of work is will continue to be remote as projected. So honestly, sir, with the global pandemic, we've been also forced to adjust our motion to be um, to be more remote and more at the edge, if I may say. So ang remote sa amin, sir, ang remote worker sa amin is classified as edge worker. Yun yung term namin. So 55 billion devices are expected to be connected worldwide by 2022, and there's a demand to decrease latency, and it will be it's expected to decrease in terms of networking because of the 5G the 5G initiatives that are popular today sa mga telcos, niro-roll out ng mga telcos natin as of the moment. So with this change, HPE has also been transforming for the past couple of years. So meron kami mga organic investments. Ito yung mga Green Lake Central, uh, our own container platform, Aruba Central, HPE InfoSite, and SimpliVity. These are our own organic investments, and we also made strategic partnerships to transcend yung hardware lang, so that we can do more than just give you the hardware you need. And meron din kami mga targeted acquisitions wherein sila MapR, sila Cray for supercomputers, Plexi for networking, and others. So having these partnerships, investments, and acquisitions across the years po yan, ginawa ni HPE. HPE has transformed itself to an edge-to-cloud platform as a service company. So, ang daming buzzwords actually, pero there's a simpler explanation to that. Edge to cloud simply means we want to be end-to-end, whether from your remote offices, branch offices, to your own data centers, or even to your public cloud or your private cloud. We can provide end-to-end solutions for you. It it doesn't mean na hardware lang siya, sir. We also include software. It doesn't mean um, na limited lang siya sa HPE products. We can also incorporate third-party products such as licenses and other hardware as well. And together with our partners here, Pill Data, we can offer it in a very flexible commercial model or consumption model. We can offer it as a service. Of course, nandun pa rin yung option to go CapEx, pero for customers who demand flexibility, not just commercially, sir, pero demand flexibility in terms of expansion and who only want to pay for what they use, who want the cloud-like experience, we offer it as a service. So this is how it looks like, sir. So we have our core portfolio for Aruba. We have our core portfolio for hybrid cloud. Ito yung mga servers, storage, container platforms namin, other software, backup solutions, etc. These share common characteristics that they are open, cloud native, intelligent, autonomous, and secure. In fact, si HPE server is classified as the only server in the world with this unique fingerprinting technology na wherein hindi na pwedeng gamitin ng mga attackers yung supply chain as attack vector. That's a very unique security feature ng HPE in terms of their servers. So using these platforms, we can provide on top several new tools or mga products or applications to provide these use cases: security, device detection, location analytics, identity, even infrastructure as a service, and of course, platform as a service, cost and compliance, and other use cases po that are unique per industry. For example, IoT use cases are very common for utility companies. So we also have partners and we also have products that cater to IoT. And all of this across multiple industries, all of these use cases, so they entail a customized combination of platforms, customized combination of software, hardware, licenses, and services, of course, expertise. Lahat po iyon can be packaged together as a customized solution and be pay-per-use or can be offered as everything as a service. So that's the flexibility together with our partner, channel partner. We can give that flexibility to our customers. What that will give you is the agility, not just with in terms of manpower, but also in terms of budget or capital that you can free up yung mga unused capital or unused manpower, yung mafi-free up yun para you can reallocate it to more transformative initiatives. So yun, sir. Dahil dun, sir, we can offer across services. So we can offer yung people, not just, hindi lang to, sir, yung mga engineers na nagde-deploy ng servers ninyo. These are services that cater to third party as well. For example, integrating to your existing cloud vendors, public cloud, things like that. IoT expertise, we have that, care of HPE Point Next services, and also our channel partner, Phildata. And then we can mix it with the right technology, so we can have it pay-per-use via HPE GreenLake. We can cater, if needed, our own container platform. We can uh, we can include yung mga Aruba network equipment and the right combination of HPE compute and storage, sized custom for each use case. And then from there, we can package it with flexible financial solutions. So, different financial services yan, sir, kung ano yung kailangan ninyo right now. So, this is the combination, parang triumvirate siya, sir, or tripod siya ng people, technology, and economics. So yung right mix na yan, sir, can be packaged by HPE and Phildata and offered to you based on what exactly you need lang, so that you won't need to pay for more than what you actually consume. So hopefully, using that philosophy, sir, we adhere to our own vision of advancing the way people live and work by engineering experiences that unlock the full potential of our customers. So later on, sir, si Alo and Jasper will discuss yung compute and storage portfolio that supports this philosophy and vision. But for now, sir, I'll pause to take some of your questions, if any. Ma'am Rochelle and Sir Christian.
None so far from my end. We can
Yeah, I'm
proceed.
good.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So let me thank you very much for that, and let me turn over to the next speaker. Alo, ikaw ba yung next speaker?
Yep, I'm
Yep.
next. Thanks, Heck. Sorry, I was
Okay.
setting up my slides. Let me share my screen lang. Hold on. And let me know if my screen can be seen.
Yep.
Okay, sige. Thanks, Heck, and good afternoon, Mr. Shell and Sir Christian. Thanks again for giving us the time to be able to talk to you today about our portfolio. Again, my name is Alo Africa. I'm from the HPE pre-sales team, but I actually represent yung server business unit namin. And what I will be talking about today is basically a reintroduction, if you will, of our server portfolio. To you so that at least you have the latest updates on what HPE has to offer in terms of servers in the industry, right? So anytime you have questions, please feel free to ask me, and I'll do my best to answer them. But without further ado, let me begin. So as Heck has shared, see HPE has adopted this edge to cloud sort of as a service strategy, wherein we offer our customers the flexibility to consume the resources, whether in the form of hardware, software, or appliances that they need, and deploy those resources within their data centers or within anywhere in the branch or remote offices. That's why our strategy is known as edge to cloud, right? And we really did this because of the adoption of public cloud or cloud in general that we see in the industry. That customers really want to be able to take advantage of yung flexibility of consuming resources on the fly, um, maximizing their investment by only paying for what they use, and being able to grow seamlessly when they need to. Pale, they want to be able to provision resources as soon as the business demands it. So that sort of flexibility and experience is what they want to get. And we can deliver that um, with our line of servers and storage as well as our Green Lake services, right? HPE, we are actually very proud to have what we what we call the industry's most complete portfolio of servers, right? x86 servers. And it really supports our edge to cloud strategy because we have purpose built servers that were ready to deploy based on our customers' use cases and initiatives, right? For example, for those customers that are looking to take advantage of IoT technology and deploying systems within their edge. The edge could be anywhere like a remote office or a factory, for example, or remote sites. We have a specialized line of servers, which we call edge line, that are sort of these ruggedized um, model of servers that you can deploy almost anywhere, and it's able to enable that kind of use case at the edge for our customers. Of course, we have the traditional, yung mga tower servers namin, which we call the ML tower servers, which we normally see customers prefer when they intend to deploy something as standalone in remote branches also. Yung mga wala namang yung mga areas where there's not really a single data center, so they just need these standalone units to be able to deliver the resource requirements in that area. Of course, the bread and butter in HPE in terms of servers or compute is still our rack mount, and perhaps uh, you may have heard this model before already from your previous engagements with HP. Syempre, ito pa rin yung ProLiant na servers ni HP, which is actually the best-selling x86 server in the world, right? And we do offer them in terms of Intel and AMD variants. For big data workloads, we have our Apollo series of servers, um, which are perfect for big data because of their density in terms of resources per form factor, right? And to be able to satisfy yung mga hybrid cloud environments that Heck mentioned earlier, wherein customers really adopt a multi-cloud model, both on-premises and off. We propose or we pitch to our customers yung model namin, next generation blades, which we call HPE Synergy for that purpose. And lastly, we have the Superdome line, which is basically our line of mission critical servers naman, with built-in hardware tolerance for those kinds of applications na should never experience any downtime. Examples of which are databases like SAP, Oracle, for example. So we do have the Superdome Flex for those kinds of customers. In a nutshell, this is the end-to-end line that we offer when it comes to our server hardware, right? And I'm sure that regardless of the use case, there is an offering or a solution that HPE can build in terms of compute and storage that we can definitely help you with so that you can attain your transformation goals. Okay. But what I wanted to focus on really for the bulk of this presentation is what makes HPE's line of servers different. Because I'm sure na in your day, maybe not day to day, but in your engagements with different vendors, uh, of course, we can't help but to compare, maybe perhaps by specs lang, right? That's how we identify which is better. But I'm here to sort of change that mindset and introduce what kind of features are unique only to HPE that sets us a cut above the rest in terms of um, uh, the feature set of our servers. And I'd like to begin with security within our x86 lines. In terms of security, HPE is the only vendor to be able to deliver an end-to-end firmware security solution within every box that every hardware box that you purchase from HPE. So Heck earlier mentioned diba, that security was really one of the pillars of our strategies to be able to differentiate against our competitors. Sorry, may Skype na nag-pop up. Um, Sorry, going back. Security is one of the pillars that we use to differentiate, and firmware security is the thing that makes our servers unique. In fact, it's so unique that only HPE has been given the Cyber Catalyst designation by Marsh. If you don't know who Marsh is, they're actually a third-party organization that identify solutions effective in reducing cyber risk. And then they endorse those solutions, giving them the Cyber Catalyst designation. They endorse those solutions to their customers. And they say na itong mga products na to will help you reduce any chances of compromise or penetration within your cyber environment. And of the 100 applications of different technologies for this kind of designation, less than 40 were awarded the Cyber Catalyst designation. HPE's firmware solution, which is built in into every server model that we have, was given this kind of designation. What do we do in terms of firmware security? And why do our customers need to consider firmware security? When I present this, actually, I get asked a lot by different customers. How is firmware not secure? And are hackers even smart enough to be able to leverage yung level na ganun kababa, which is very close to your hardware, and insert any sort of malware and compromised code within that level that really affects, the security within your data center? The answer is actually yes. If you Google right now yung tinatawag na the big hack, a lot of Bloomberg articles will actually appear regarding one of our competitors, Chinese brand sila, and I won't mention the name na, who was affected by a firmware compromise um, within their install base. So their different customers were affected, right, by different hackers. Kami at HPE, we saw that as an opportunity to develop our own solution And we came up with what we call a silicon root of trust that does three things essentially. Number one is it protects your infrastructure from any exposed or compromised firmware, potentially exposed or compromised firmware, by not applying any patches that are not officially um, marked with HPE signature. So, kumbaga, if it's not an official HPE firmware package or patch, it will not be able to apply that definitely. So there's that level of checking sa firmware namin. Second, is it on an occasional and periodic basis, it will monitor your firmware levels on a periodic basis and report any deviations and compromise or any malware inserted there. So when it does that, it reports the feedback to the users, the IT administrators, and in the event of a compromise, it's able to recover essential firmware to a last known good state, right? In the event of any breaches. And this might seem like a really basic thing, diba, this kind of technology, but the truth is only HP's actually delivers this on our own. Our competitors will rely on Intel or AMD's version of this, which doesn't actually do end-to-end firmware checking. They will rely on Intel Secure Boot and AMD Secure Processor. That's what the equivalents are called. But it really doesn't do the periodic checking, and it only does it during boot up. So this is one of the differences that make HPEs very special in terms of security. The second is in terms of manageability of our infrastructure. And we know um, the troubles, right? The challenges that and the struggles that IT administrators face when it comes to firefighting, di ba? We know the countless hours that you spend or your team spends interpreting, logs, calling vendor support, right? We know that and we acknowledge that. And what HPE developed as technology to be able to address that comes in the form of artificial intelligence naman. We call this technology HPE InfoSight, and I think Jasper, who is our storage architect, will discuss this later on in his presentation. InfoSight is AI for your data center, and it covers all of your HPE infrastructure, server, storage, and networking, right? What it does is it makes proactive recommendations and analysis on your hardware, tells you in advance, right, how to optimize it in terms of workload placement and utilization. And before any failures or any faults that could be experienced by your hardware, it will proactively tell you and notify you when service is needed, and it automates case creation dun sa backend namin so that engineers can be dispatched in order to service your infrastructure. InfoSight is available for all of our servers and storage. And I'll let Jasper discuss that later on, yung in-depth features niya. But again, this is a differentiator in terms of manageability naman. Okay. So two things that make HPE different. Our lines are security in our servers and manageability. And the good thing for our customers is that these actually come as value adds for no additional cost, right? Any infrastructure could be utilized as kind of technology, and therefore giving you the benefit of both securing your data center and being able to easily manage it as well. I'll pause muna po there. So far, are there any questions with our offerings and the technology that we have in HPE sa servers? Okay, sige po. If none, I'll proceed. Pero let me breeze through these slides so as not to take up too much time. What I actually wanted to discuss
Sir,
was,
sir,
yep,
hello, Mr. Shell.
yeah, sorry.
Go ahead, Mr. Shell.
Hello,
Yes po.
good afternoon. Yeah. Just want to check kung ano yung hard disk type na ginagamit ng servers.
Oh, sure.
Anong hard disk, oo.
Internally, ma'am, we can
Mm.
use anything from M.2 SSD, SATA or SAS SSDs. Pwede siyang nearline SAS, pwede siyang 10K or 15K SAS. Uh, what else? It can be NVMe.
Pero yung
Any of
yung
those.
mga Dell Rock type, naka-NVMe na ba siya or we will request for that na NVMe yung ano namin, hard disk na
Uh,
i-install?
we will need to configure that on our end, ma'am. Pero if your question if it supports NVMe, it
Ah,
does. Kaya
okay.
namin yun on the rack
Mm.
mounts.
Okay, yun lang. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Sige, I'll proceed very quickly with this. What I actually wanted to show and share were use cases that you can perhaps build upon when you think of our portfolio. And I wanted to start with VDI as a use case or as a solution, which is built on top of our ProLiant offering. So naisip ko lang i-present sa inyo po yung VDI kasi pandemic, karamihan ng customers po namin and companies are work from home. We get asked a lot to introduce yung VDI portfolio namin. So VDI actually addresses a lot of things when it comes to enabling a work from home setup. It addresses access, it addresses performance, right? Especially for those um, users who use applications na medyo heavy on resources, right? Kailangan nila ng virtualized desktops, specialized virtualized desktops for that use case. It also sort of addresses security and manageability. Pag the onboard ng mga users, standardized siya on this type of technology. So what we do and what we offer is actually a virtualized desktop infrastructure solution hosted on our ProLiant servers using VMware, either VMware Horizon or Citrix Zen Desktop or Zen app. And we package that as a solution with maybe even with NVIDIA graphics processors, depending sa applications na kailangan. So we package that as a solution and we offer it to our customers, right? Pa, for those who want to take up this initiative during this this pandemic, right? Just to share, one of our customers is actually a school. Although this is a worldwide reference, we do have references locally that unfortunately are under NDA. So we're sharing public references. Ang ginawa lang namin for this school was to sort of because of the pandemic and the lockdowns, they had to consolidate virtual desktops for 20,000 users, combination of students and employees, right? And they did this on top of HP ProLiant and yung storage namin, which is 3PAR. We were able to package this on top of GreenLake, um, offering them a per user billing. Depende sa number of users na gagamit ng infrastructure, right? And they did it flexibly, being able to scale up to the 20,000 requirement. Right? So, ni-roll out nila to last year and up around 98% ng 20,000 na yun, nabigyan na nila ng access to virtualized desktops using our solution, our HP solution. The second use case I wanted to share naman is more of hybrid cloud and server consolidation with our platform, si HPE Synergy, right? Hybrid cloud is the use case pag meron kaming customers na nagbabalak or meron ng deployment sa AWS or perhaps Azure, mga public cloud yon. Pero gusto nila may nire-retain pa rin on-premise and they need to make that integration between their on-premises applications and the public cloud. So we do this on top of HPE Synergy naman. And let me just skip these slides. HPE Synergy is the next generation Blades infrastructure that we have. What makes it perfect for the hybrid cloud use case is that it comes built in with a software-defined tool kung saan ginagamit natin yun, which we call OneView naman, ginagamit si OneView to be able to automate yung provisioning ng infrastructure. I'd like to emphasize that point kasi normally when you talk about automating provisioning of resources, customers are coming from the point of view na nagagawa nila kasi yun through the public cloud, right? Through the public cloud, you have this catalog of instances, mga different sizes of VMs. Mamimili ka lang ng gusto mong i-deploy eh. And then you click it, instantly it will be provisioned for you. The resources are available for you to consume. So we sort of wanted to replicate that experience on-premise naman, on the hardware level, kaya ginawa namin si HPE OneView and si HPE Synergy. Sa OneView, Gumagamit din siya ng parang templates for those instances. And then, parang point and click na lang din for our customers. Isa-specify nila yung configuration. Kasama dun sa configuration would be the storage, the server settings, the network settings, even the OS image, and the firmware patch. Mamimili na lang sila ng settings na yun and instantly pag kininik nila and they provision it to infrastructure, within minutes mabubuhay yung ganong resource, which is why it's perfect for the hybrid cloud use case. We also pitch si HPE Synergy para dun sa mga customers po namin na they want to standardize on a single environment. Sasabihin nila, ang dami naming brands of different servers, right? And we want to refresh them all and consolidate them onto a single platform para isa na lang yung minamanage namin, isa na lang yung inaalala namin na platform. Synergy would also be perfect for that use case because we have reference configurations, meaning tried and tested siya for these kinds of applications, right? From data analytics to virtualization to containers, even DevOps, all of this can be run within HPE Synergy. Okay, and the last use case I wanted to bring up was for database applications, mga mission critical database. Kayo po ba, Mr. Shell or Sir Christian, are you using any form of ERP software like Oracle or SAP as of the moment?
We have SAP.
You're a user of SAP. Okay, you're a
Mm-mm.
customer po of SAP. Okay, so for those kinds of applications, yung SAP, we really position si Superdome Flex because we understand those kinds of applications. If it's for ERP, for example, are critical to the business, di pwede mag-down, right? So, si Superdome Flex, built-in siya with features to tolerate hardware failure. Kunyari, may masira na memory dyan, sa hardware mismo, hindi magda-down si Superdome, hindi magda-down or magka-crash yung operating system mo. Right? If you deploy that on any traditional x86 servers, definitely blue screen yun, magka-crash, unavailable yung application. That experience can be avoided with Superdome Flex. So these are our most common applications that we see, SAP and Oracle. In fact, we're number one in terms of SAP deployments globally. Si HPE, we're the number one infrastructure vendor. Okay. Let me just skip that. Another customer reference that we have is actually Indian Oil. They came from SAP Classic, hindi pa naka SAP HANA. They were using ECC. They wanted to migrate it to SAP HANA on mission critical platform, yung hindi magda-down nga, guaranteed uptime. And we did that using the Superdome Flex. In the Philippines, we actually have customers who use Superdome Flex for SAP. We see them in the utilities industry. We see them in retail. We see them in government. And some of them also use it for Oracle. Yung mga telcos natin, they use Superdome Flex for Oracle. So hindi nagda-down yung mga systems nila. And maybe this is something that we can explore as well for you being an SAP customer. That being said, I don't want to. I know nag-overtime ako saglit. I took up some of Jasper's time. I'm willing to answer any of the questions po you have, Ms. Rochelle or Sir Christian, at this point. Or if none, we can take this conversation further siguro later on. If you have any initiatives relating to compute or server infrastructure, definitely reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you. Okay.
Mm-mm.
Thank you.
Actually,
Thank
yung
you again
last na
for.
case, use case mo, parang
Mhm,
applicable talaga siya sa digital transformation namin ngayon. So,
mhm.
currently, naka-SAP ECC kami. And then,
Okay.
we're planning, it's in the plan pa lang ha, pipeline, to move nga doon sa SAP HANA. So, if yung dome na dinidiscuss mo now can help us to move to SAP HANA, seamlessly, then maybe we can have another discussion on this part to explore yung Superdome.
Sure, sure.
Mm-mm.
Sige, ma'am. We can
Mm-mm.
definitely reach out to you. Tulungan namin kayo to
Mm-mm.
plan out your migration
Oo, oo.
para
Mm-mm.
i-explore natin yan. Okay.
Oo.
Thank you, ma'am, for your feedback po.
Oo. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I'll hand it over to si Jasper. And thank you again for the time po.
Thank you din. Sige, ano naman. Jasper.
Okay, good afternoon, Sir Christian, Miss and Miss Rochelle. Let me just share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yes.
Yes, bro.
Okay. So good afternoon. So as Alo said earlier, I'm Jasper. I'll be discussing the storage portion of HPE's portfolio. Um, so to start with, if HPE delivers actually the most complete portfolio for compute, we actually also deliver one of the most complete, not only complete, but also the most intelligent portfolio for storage. It's built on three key pillars. It is AI driven. So as discussed earlier, we have HPE InfoSight, our AI for the data center, which we'll discuss a bit more in a while. Built for cloud, so whether you want a private cloud deployment or so on, and can be delivered as a service via our HPE GreenLake portfolio. HPE, as I've said earlier, delivers, if not the most complete storage portfolio as well. We have our line of primary storages ranging from NAS appliances and gateways, moving on to our entry block level with HPE MSA. We also have various hyperconverged platforms available, which is HPE SimpliVity for our hyperconverged appliance. So it provides you with the smallest, densest footprint for an HCI deployment. We have our new disruptor out in the market, which also playing on the hyperconverged field, which is what we call HPE Nimble DHCI, meaning disaggregated hyperconverged. For this one, you get the flexibility of a converged infrastructure, meaning flexible scaling of your compute resources as well as your storage resources separately, while delivering you hyperconverged management or management under a single pane of glass, or what we call it. This is built on the ProLiant platform that Alo discussed earlier, as well as our Nimble storage, which we'll go on to later. Then up next for our primary block storage as well, we have Nimble storage for our mid-range or business critical applications. So it's one of the simplest, easiest to use arrays out in the market, providing you with unmatched resiliency as well as simplicity of use for your tier one applications. Then we have our HPE Primera, which is our block storage for mission critical, for if you have workloads ranging from yung SAP HANA, databases, and so on, which is very critical for your day-to-day operations. HPE Primera delivers that 100% availability guaranteed for your storage infrastructure. Then we have our newest addition to our primary storage portfolio, which is HP Alletra, which was launched just a few months ago. HP Alletra, together with what we call Data Services Cloud Console, is our new all-NVMe platform for mission critical and business critical. So we have two families under the Alletra, one catering for that mission critical 100% availability workloads, and one model for the business critical or 6 nines of availability workloads. And, for this, do we have any questions on the primary portfolio of HP, or does something, or does a certain product, do you have a certain product that you're leaning towards that you want us to dig in more or delve in more deeper? None.
I think, yeah, you can proceed with the slide. I'll just pop the question later after the slide.
Okay. So aside from our primary storage, we also have what we call software-defined storages available up in our portfolio to cater to other application workloads like object storage, data management platform, your scale out NAS, and so on. This is built on our ProLiant series Apollo and ProLiant series DL servers or rack mount servers. We partnered with the industry's top vendors for this software-defined infrastructures like Cumulo for our high performance scale out NAS. We also have Scality for our object storage. And as Hector discussed earlier, we have key acquisitions in the field of analytics for MapR and Blue Data. And we also have data management platform with Cohesity. And on top of that, we have our secondary storage that would cater to your backup and archiving needs. We have our HPE ProLiant series and Apollo series with our OEM ISVs like Veeam, we have Commvault, and recently actually we have acquired Zerto to be part of our portfolio as well. Then on aside from that, we have our disk-based backup appliance, which is HP Store Ones, and our tape storage, which is HPE Store Ever for your longer term archiving needs. Then on top of this HPE portfolio or HPE's appliance, we actually have what we call the HPE Complete program, which has majority of the third-party solutions that are key to building or helping you transform your infrastructure with key solutions out in the market. So the HPE Complete portfolio, meaning it is under our HPE SKU and under our L1 and L2 support. We have various partners ranging from data protection, as shown here, like Commvault, Veeam. We also have software-defined storage for your high-performance needs like Weka IO and so NAS requirements like Cetera. Up to data protection and business continuity like Eternity for immutable storage, Microfocus as well, and big data analytics like Vertica and Tamer. It's really to provide you with a holistic solution built on HPE's key belief of advancing the way people live and work through engineering. So up next is with regards to the global intelligence that we have. So as Alo discussed earlier, I'll be the one to discuss yung info site or our intelligence for the data center. So HPE really believes that intelligence is key to ensuring an always on and always available application. So with our current data centers, we usually have hundreds of variables on top of our storage. We have networking, we have server, and even the virtualization platform that we're in. So having a very fast and reliable storage only solves a fraction of the problem. And that problem becomes far too complex for humans to solve because of the hundreds of variables ranging from network bottlenecks, server configuration issues, and even, as I've said, virtualization platform concerns. So this, as we saw in a study, that more than 90% of the problems arise above the storage layer. So that's why we have HPE's. So that's why we have HPE InfoSight, which is our global intelligence, and it's the world's most advanced AI for infrastructure. So this actually started from Nimble Storage way back in 2010. So it's actually one of the most mature AI out in the market, collecting data for over 10 years now. So as we know, with any AI or any machine learning algorithm, the more data sets that it have or the more learnings that it has, the smarter and better recommendations it can give, or the better the prediction that it can provide. So that is why we have actually cascaded this throughout our portfolio, not only in storage, but we also have it in servers, hyperconverge, and other key offerings that HPE has. So it's really changing the way we manage our performance and resources with HPE InfoSight for supported hypervisors like VMware, Hyper-V. You get to see not only your hardware layer or storage layer and compute layer with InfoSight, but you also get to see your virtualization layer. We get integrated wellness and planning, so you can get capacity planning on top of that to give you various insight when in terms if you need to upgrade your storage, server resources, or maybe you need to cater to a new workload. So kailangan natin magtanggal ng test and dev or magbawas ng test and dev to cater to a bigger application. On top of that, we offer root cause performance issue. So you get to see a holistic view of your virtual machines for VMware and Hyper-V so that you get to see if you have any noisy neighbors, you get to see any high-performing VMs. You also, with that insight or that view, you get to also repurpose underutilized hosts as well as optimize the infrastructure better with best practice recommendations from HPE InfoSight. So what makes HPE InfoSight unique? So we've heard out in the market, or as we all know, everyone's claims to has intelligence in their systems, whether it's brand A, brand B, or brand C. They would claim to have intelligence. So what really makes InfoSight unique is the data that it has already gathered through the years, that telemetry or breadth of telemetry that it has gathered to provide us with a deeper and broader diagnostics, again, across our storage, compute, and virtualization platforms. On top of this, we get full stack visibility for the supported hypervisors to see past the hardware level and into your virtual machine or virtual infrastructure. And with this, we apply machine learning and machine learning methods and techniques to have what we call a see once prevent for all mentality. So if we see a problem in a deployment in another country that has a similar application to yours or a similar baseline of firmware as yours, and they encounter a problem, you're already notified and made aware how to avoid that problem occurring in your own infrastructure. So any problem should only just occur once and can be prevented for all our installed bases. And last but definitely not the least, we have prescriptive recommendations using context-aware machine learning. So it gathers best practices from other deployments that has a similar profile as yours and provides you with those recommendations to even better optimize your systems. So what does AI-driven autonomous machine learning provide to our customers? So firstly, the predictive analytics that prevents problems. In our data gathered, we have actually saved over 1.5 million work hours lost due to unplanned downtime. So imagine that 1.5 million hours saved compared to having an infrastructure na may experience yung ganun downtime across our deployments. Next is with the advanced support automation, we redefined that support experience. So for our InfoSight, it actually analyzes the health or the heartbeat of your machines and the telemetry data that it has so that it gets to predict if something is about to go wrong with the hardware before it does. So it already predicts that at because your hard drive, for example, is showing this kind of where parameters, you might need to replace it. So it will send an HPE engineer to replace that part for you. Next is you get to pinpoint issues across the stack. So having that visibility not only limited to the hardware layer but up to the VM level, you get to see where the slowdowns are, whether it is a network configuration issue or is it a bottleneck in the virtualization component or so on. You get to see that and optimize or tackle the problems as it is and not having to have that guesswork on where the problem is occurring. So with AI-driven recommendations, you also get to eliminate again the additional guesswork of how to optimize the environment. Since it has learned from previous similar deployments, it can provide various key insight to help us optimize the infrastructure. So this and all together coincides with HPE's vision to have that autonomous data center or autonomous IT operations where we start before in just predicting if a component is about to go wrong. Next is having that recommendation or recommending stage to having that autonomous stage on already completely eliminating lower level support. So for select products like Nimble and some of our storages, we are actually at this level already, having eliminate the L1 and L2 cases automatically solved by the AI. So here are some use cases for HP InfoSight. So this is a use case where it is impacted 600 systems from an ESXi or VMware issue. So the impact is they felt 10 times lower throughput and higher latency. So it really rendered the system to a slowdown such that wala na siya, it's almost unusable. So the diagnostic was there was an illegal iSCSI command in the ESXi that created the huge performance issue after a OS upgrade of the Nimble storage. So and rapidly created yung workaround until the vendor fixed the bugs. So the advantage of this is nung na-encounter niya to, 600 other systems that would have experienced that scenario was already placed on the deny list for this OS upgrade so that hindi nila ma-experience yung application slowdown that one customer experienced on another deployment. So, nandito talaga pumapasok yung concept of the C1's prevent for all na support structure that we have. Another one is data availability disruption. So, together with our services department, which is HPE Point Next, we have prevented outages as well using InfoSight. So, the impact was there was a root cause tied to a memory leak issue. Then the diagnostic was the signature of that memory leak issue is created to identify any other potential problems across our 3-par installed base. So when they match up that memory signature, they actually notified over 180 or 180 plus customers to correct that issue before it happened to them. So before pa sila magkaroon ng disruptive memory leak issue, na-advise na sila nung engineers natin on how to solve the problem before it occurs to them. So any questions so far?
Okay, so yung just want to yung HP InfoSight, it's like management platform ba ito or like application? How do I get that? First siguro, paano ako magkakaroon ng HP InfoSight? Parang ganun yung question ko. Pag
Okay.
bumili ako ng server na naka-built-in na yung application na yon, pag bumili ako ng storage.
So for depending on the product, iba-iba yung way of deploying InfoSight, but it comes bundled in with the product as part of its support contract. So HPE InfoSight is free to use as long as you're in maintenance contract with HPE. Then it is actually cloud-based, so wala kang hino-host na dedicated infrastructure just for that InfoSight. So you just actually enroll it to the cloud and ina-analyze na yung heartbeat or telemetry data no infrastructure.
Okay. So yung halimbawa yung storage yung server, meron siyang parang client doon ng HP InfoSight and then sa cloud andun yung ano niya parang pinakang server niya and then doon ina-analyze yung mga data din. Doon din namin mag-gather yung data from cloud kung kailangan namin ng report from that particular server.
Yes po. For servers, we have what we call yung ILO amplifier pack to send that data to InfoSight. For storages like Nimble and Primera, it directly sends it na. Wala na yung middleware na yun.
So that means dapat yung mga servers namin mayroon siyang internet access?
Yes,
Or
meron.
kasi may mga setup ko yung case na walang mga VMs namin walang internet. Meron solution dun for InfoSight?
For local, pag mga dark, kumbaga pang what we call dark site, we
Oo.
actually have it for our Primera. Meron siyang onboard AI to analyze yung data nyo lang. Yun nga, it doesn't gather other learnings from other global deployments. So yung data nyo lang yung na-applyan niya nung analytics.
Mm.
So we have that on our HP Primera storage. For
So yung
Nimble, yeah.
yung kasi namin setup namin is may mga servers nga na connected sa internet and then may servers na lang within our infrastructure. So yun nga, paano yun? So kailangan niya ng local
Kailangan
na
internet access pagka site yung kailangan. Yeah.
So and then paano paano niya ma-upgrade yung mga bagong information na 'di ba kung naka-global ka, at least yung laging updated. Pero yung 'pag nasa local na namin, so paano namin yun, ida-download ba namin yung from the cloud and then i-lo-load namin dun sa local namin na parang server na nag-host ng HPE info site para mag-ano siya sync in sa mga updates?
For that one, yung local analytics dun sa HP Primera natin, it's done inside the box. So yun na yung nag-analyze. Yun nga lang, you can't get the global data since hindi siya connected to the internet. Yun yung downside niya. Hindi siya ina-update eh. It does the analysis in the array itself. So hindi siya parang you don't need to download any data to put into it.
Ang ano kasi dito is yung katulad nga ng use case mo, kasi itong side diagnostic, global yung ano din sa mga matching. So, halimbawa nga magkaroon ng ganong global issue tapos yung device namin hindi naman siya connected sa internet, sa ano, paano mada-diagnose yung mga nasa hindi naka-connect sa internet, and then paano mape-prevent using HPE info site? Like this ang use case. Itong naka-present now.
Yung mga use cases natin then it needs to be connected to the info site mismo yung so it needs to have internet. Hindi siya pwede sa dark site to have that global analytics.
Akala ko
Miss
meron
Rochelle, I have a
specific
question
na.
lang.
Yes po.
Ma'am, si Monto, ma'am.
Yes, Sir
The
Mon.
reason why, ano po yung reason, ma'am, bakit hindi niyo po, hindi connected sa internet? Is it
First po,
because,
security, and then hindi naman talaga po kailangan ng security, internet access ng server. Kaya hindi na naman siya. Part ng server is hindi yung job niya. Dinesign yung server para sa particular application, and that particular application doesn't require internet access. So hindi natin siya bibigyan ng internet access.
so parang ano, ma'am, parang local, sa LAN lang siya nakakonect, no? Kasi yung
within the
local, yung end
Mm.
users natin for those applications are connected via LAN lang also.
And
Parang
they're
ganon.
using VPN, so we can access it even remotely. We can access pa rin yung local namin. We don't need the internet for that
Yes.
server.
Ma'am, we have a similar din, ma'am, discussions on that on a bank naman. Kasi pag banks din, din sila, very strict din sila, no? They have their own ISO also, InfoSec. They have also that one, but we have in our discussions, since telemetry lang naman ang kailangang na kailangang ma-connect to the info site to automate all this, parang ganon. Dun sa mga servers nila, ma'am, no? We have that discussion na yes, they will allow opening of ports lang po. Port 443.
For HPE info site.
Yes. Ganun lang siya.
Oo. So meron ganun din naman kaming parang yung sa namin, Symantec EDR namin. So yun, may particular yun nga naka-open lang yun for that particular
Yes, ma'am.
application. So pwede itong ganon, si
Yes
HPE
po.
info
Yes,
site,
yes.
yung ganong solution.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Sir Mon. So
Okay.
yun so to give you an idea, yung din sa namin, niro-roll out namin ngayon sa Symantec namin. So yung mga servers namin din nga para makapag sila usap sa cloud ng information. In particular yung port na yun para dun sa solution sa security side para
Correct, ma'am.
makapag-update siya and pick up ng updates. So ganito din pala yung magiging solution for that.
Possible
Yes,
din, yes po, for HPE.
Thank you.
Mag-open lang ng port niya.
Thank you.
Okay. So, for our storage portfolio, I'd like to start off with HP Nimble. So, just a short slide. So, HP Nimble is our mid-range or tier 1, what we call business critical storage that is designed for with 99 or 6 nines of guaranteed data availability. So it provides that intelligent experience with the AI analytics. It's effortless with the simplified management and storage life cycles from install to provisioning. And we offer what we call a timeless ownership experience, meaning the investment can be future-proof since we offer controller upgrade options. So other vendors usually have, when you need more performance or when you need more IOPS or throughput, they would suggest to put in a new storage array with a higher model and migrate your data to that to have that greater performance. With HPE Nimble Storage, we offer that timeless experience where we just swap out the controller or the storage controller to a higher model to provide you with that greater performance or greater IOPS. So you don't need to upgrade the whole, or you don't need to waste the investment, yung mga disk, the chassis itself, and you can just upgrade the controller. So this goes both ways for the performance and capacity. So we can add additional shelves for capacity naman. HP Nimble is really engineered to drive that unique value for the tier 1 storage range. So it's built from the ground up with global intelligence, which is HP InfoSight, where the technology actually came from. Then secondly, it has what we call ultra efficient architecture, which what we call castle file architecture or cache accelerated file system. So this allows us to have that performance to be what do you call this, processor based rather than disk based. With traditional arrays of the past, to get more IOPS or more performance, manufacturers usually need to put in more disk, right? So the more disk that you have, the more performance that the array has. With this cache accelerated file system, the performance is now dependent on the processor and the cache, so that in a set amount of this, you can have the same amount of drives and more performance just by swapping out the controller to a higher model. And also with this kind of ultra efficient architecture, we can actually deliver flash-like performance even for our hybrid configurations. So yung hybrid flash natin, or what we call adaptive flash, can deliver all flash performance na. And lastly, um, it has unmatched resiliency. So with HPE Nimble storage, we have what we call triple plus parity RAID. So it comes with just one RAID, one simple RAID that can tolerate up to 3 simultaneous drive failure. And for all flash systems, you can have an additional spare to make that a total of 4 drive failures that it can tolerate simultaneously. So it's really mounts or a huge leap in terms of resiliency compared to the traditional array of the past. So all of this together works to provide that 6 nines of guaranteed data availability proven across our installed base for Nimble storage. So up next, we also have our mission critical, or what you call tier 0 storage. So as Alo discussed earlier, for servers, we have what we call the Superdome Flex to provide that mission critical mission critical compute performance. For storage, we have HPE Primera. So HPE Primera is actually 100% guaranteed available storage. So imagine that no downtime for an HP Primera. It provides you with that on-demand experience from where you can instantly access your data and even consume it as a service with HP GreenLake. We have app-aware reliability to tie in together, and still the same timeless ownership. So it offers that controller upgrade options as well to provide you with more capacity without wasting the initial investment. And those are done data in place. So online yung upgrades. So in case kinulang tayo ng performance, upgrading it has requires no downtime. So HP Primera is really designed to be that single platform for all our mission critical workloads. So supporting traditional mission critical applications like virtualization, database, ERPs like SAP HANA, Oracle, and so on. And modern workloads as well, like container-based deployments, nandiyan yung real-time analytics, IoT, and machine learning or AI. So our HP Primera provides global intelligence as well. So it's powered by AI. So we have InfoSight. We also have yung what I've discussed earlier, embedded AI in the array. So for customers that have dark sites, yung wala talagang internet access, it still has an AI built into the array to analyze the data. Then the architecture is what we call all-active architecture. Meaning yung controller niya is like clustered. So in case one fails, you actually don't feel much of the difference. So yung failover niya is instantaneous and transparent. So no downtime talaga siya. Instant yung pagpalo niya sa other controller. And unlike our competitors or what they call active-active architecture, our all-active architecture, yung controller namin is already mapped to all the drives. Unlike yung active-active architecture of other vendors that yung controller A, for example, is mapped to a certain drive number, for example, 1 to 10, and controller B is 11 to 20. With our all-active architecture, each controller is already mapped to all. So that's why it can provide yung instant and transparent failover. And lastly, it also has what we call service-centric OS. So the OS of the past usually is kernel-based. So meaning, pag nag-update tayo ng features or nagkakaroon ng software updates for the OS, we upgrade everything. We need to upgrade the whole feature set for whole OS. With what we call service-centric OS, parang container-based na siya. So we can actually upgrade certain aspects of the OS. For example, we want to upgrade the data optimization algorithm only. We want HPE can easily push the upgrade faster, and it's safer for the storage array since you don't tamper with the other key components of the OS. Yan. So all of this together naman provides 100% availability for our HPE Primera. So no special contracts, no restrictive terms, just no downtime for the application. So up next, I'd like to quickly run through yung HP Aletra natin, which is the newly launched product of HPE as part of our storage portfolio. So this actually shifts the focus from managing just storage to managing your data. So again, the key pillars that it has is it is AI driven with InfoSight, and now it's built for cloud operations. So meaning, the way you manage the array is via a cloud platform, which is Data Services Cloud Console. And this truly would provide that as a service experience together with HPE GreenLake. So the Data Services Cloud Console is basically
Hello,
as
Jasper. Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry to cut. Tanong ko lang, so itong cloud operation is meron kaming hardware or it's on the cloud?
It's on cloud na talaga, subscription na siya, SaaS.
Subscription, ano na siya, para siyang yung mga Azure na storage solution.
Yeah, pero management lang. You still have the box on premise, yung storage box that you can have via CapEx or pwede rin via subscription.
Okay, so meron pa kami pa-purchase na hardware? Parang ganun ba? Na
Yes.
storage?
Meron pa din siyang storage box that you can purchase via CapEx or via subscription.
Mm-mm.
Then yung management niya, it offers this new innovation by HPE which is SaaS-based na. So wala ka nang mini-maintain na on-premise hardware for management.
Ay, naguluhan po ako. Sorry. So yung hardware na sinasabi natin, is it on-prem or is it on cloud?
It's on-prem but it can be have as a service. So pwede siyang cloud model yung procurement mo nung via our HPE GreenLake. Pero on-premise pa din siya, may box pa din po siya, may storage box pa din.
So, meron siyang, sorry nalito talaga ako. Kasi
May
pag
appliance pa
sinabing,
din siya.
pag sinabi kasing cloud, naintindihan ko is, wala na kaming bibiling storage. Kaya tinanong ko, cloud, wala bang dun storage? So, dito, meron pang appliance na bibili na nasa on-prem. So, paano siya naging component na para siyang cloud? Saan part siya dun pumasok? Since meron siyang cloud itself. Ay, meron
So,
siyang box sa on-prem namin.
Yung cloud sa kanya is the management, this Data Services Cloud Console. Itong Data Services Cloud Console na to, this is a software as a service na. So, subscribe na lang kayo for this one. So, this is a management console na web-based to manage the array via the cloud. So, anywhere. You don't need to have that you don't need to be at the office to manage it. You can be at the home, you can be at the coffee shop. Basta may secure credentials ka, you can manage your infrastructure anywhere. So yung management yung redefine talaga natin.
Okay. So yung management niya yung nasa cloud para
Yes.
I can access it anywhere. Parang ganun ba yung concept?
Yeah, ganun yung
Hindi
concept.
yung
Hindi yung
hindi yung
box.
solution na yung storage namin is nasa cloud. Doon kami magpapadala ng data. So it's
No,
purely
no.
the management. Okay, sige,
Management.
gets ko na.
So, ang advantage nito is we've listened to various feedbacks of customer, kung ano yung nagustuhan nila sa public cloud, kung ano yung hinahanap nila, why they go for public cloud storage. So from there, it's really about the management. That's why ginawa ni HPE yung cloud-based yung management niya so that customers can manage it from anywhere, yun na nga, at the comforts of their own home. Ngayon, work from home usually tayo, or even at a coffee shop or so on. Then it has these key features like invisible upgrades. So invisible upgrades, meaning para siyang yung smartphone method of upgrading the OS. So it's policy-based management, OS management or upgrade management for the storage infrastructure. So meaning you can have multiple arrays and multiple policies that comes with it. So you have an array, for example, that's always kept up to date or up to the latest firmware. And maybe you have a more critical array that gusto mo munang matest out yung firmware sa ibang array before you upgrade it. So you set it on manually upgrade so that pag dumating yung OS, notification lang, so you get the choice when you want to upgrade it. So it's really having that parang smartphone-like experience. And on top of this, we have the simplified deployment since it's the new devices are automatically discovered, onboarded, and configured. And ito talaga yung um, key innovation is what we call intent-based provisioning. So intent-based provisioning is isa sa mga bagay na hiningi talaga ng tao to say na this is the experience we want, that's why we look at cloud. Usually kasi our traditional storage arrays, when we want to provision a workload, pupunta tayo dun sa array OS, magpo-provision tayo, magka-carve out ka ng storage dun, you present it sa OS, you zone it sa SAN switch, and so on. So with Data Services Cloud Console, we made it as simple as possible. Later, I'll go through the steps of how to provision a new workload sa Data Services Cloud Console. So this is just an overview look dun sa Data Services Cloud Console natin, where we can see yung fleet management. So you can manage array actually even across geographical sites. So if you have a large, across, for example, sa Philippines national level, you have a site in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, you can manage it via the fleet management. You can also launch various features like info site via the Data Services Cloud Console. So you can launch it here, magpo-pop out lang siya sa additional tab. So mainly, Data Services Cloud Console unifies the infrastructure management in the data management into one simple console. Na wala ka nang kailangan i-maintain na local software na i-install or maintain since it's a software as a service offering. So HPE always keeps it up to date. You just log on and use it. And it's secure and cloud native. So it's actually built on what we call Aruba Central. So Aruba Central is a similar cloud management, managing our access points and switches sa Aruba. So it was built on that kernel, so or dun sa code base niya, so that it actually has over 7 years na ng security patches na built on dun sa platform na yun. So up next is intent-based provisioning. So this is really the what we call yung paradigm shift nga or the huge leap forward or a game changer sa storage. So it can done via 3 simple steps. Yung una-una, log into the Data Services Cloud Console. Next is you smart provision that workload. So yung smart provisioning na yun is powered by AI to give you additional decisions, recommendations, and so on. And next is it already powers your application. So as an example, ganito siya. When you go to that smart workload provisioning, it asks you anong workload ba yung tatakbo natin. Whether it be virtualization, Exchange, SQL Server, or so on. How many volumes do you want to create and how big it is? So in this case, we want to create 2 volumes, 22 gigabytes each. Then we click continue. After that, it uses that machine learning or AI recommendation to recommend which array is best to run it. So for example, you have multiple arrays in your data center. It recommends that this is the best array to run it on. For this example, is the Alletra 9000. But you can override this and click the other one, pwede din naman. But it already gives you an insight on where it thinks best to run your workload mo. Then you click continue again. Then it asks you for the name of the volume, yung kino-confirm lang niya yung workload, saan location, and what host group it's presented on. In this case, it's the test host group. Then you click continue and you review your information. So for this case, it's an Exchange workload, 2 volumes, 22 gigabytes each, presented to the test host group. It's running on your Alletra series, and this is the volume name. You click submit, and your workload is ready to go. Provisioned na siya. So it's really a huge step forward or a huge leap forward in terms of workload provisioning. And as of today, this is available for 2 of our models or platform families. Mainly HPE Alletra 6000 for business critical workload, So this is built on the business critical platform na 6 nines of guaranteed availability. You get the always on data services like the duplication and compression, and the ultra efficient architecture. Plus, this is all NVMe. It's an all NVMe storage, so front end and back end. So it's ideal for database, test dev, VM farms, and container farms. Another one is our HP Alletra 9000 for the mission critical workloads. With this platform, you get the all active multi-node architecture, 100% guaranteed availability as a standard benefit for mission critical portfolio namin. You get the active clustering, so you can have synchronous replication, asynchronous replication, or kung ano yung best fit for to give you additional resiliencies. And it's actually best performance density proven with 96 SAP HANA instances in just a 4U enclosure or a 4U chassis. So this is ideal for those, again, large-scale database like SAP HANA, Oracle, large-scale consolidation as well with your containers and VMs all in one mission-critical platform. So to sum it up, you run any apps without compromise, whether it be mission-critical applications with Alletra 9000 or your business-critical applications on Alletra 6000 tied together with the data services cloud console na SaaS natin. So with this, we actually really reimagined the data experience in providing with the HP Alletra, HP InfoSight, and Data Services Cloud Console. So all of this together can be have as a service as well via HPE GreenLake along with any of HP's portfolio. This actually simplifies the data infrastructure. It empowers the data innovators, not just the admins, but also the analysts, the programmers, and the coder, yun man nagko-code, all of those. It integrates data management and your infrastructure management into one single pane of glass. You protect your data from everywhere and you eliminate the disruption. So again, HPE is the edge to cloud platform as a service company to help you transform and bring that digital transformation wherever it's needed. Turn your data into insights and action and accelerate new services and experience for you and your customer. And again, the most complete. And you can have all of this, any of these products pala with our as a service offering. So whether it be primary, secondary, or software defined. With that, I think back to Mon. And if you have any more questions, I'll be here to answer it now. Thank you.
Hello, Jasper. Siguro yung question ko lang is yung pwede bang meron kaming controller for mission critical and then meron din storage controller for non-critical
Pwede siyang
na
dalawang
oo.
separate array.
Pwede,
Meron. Yes.
possible siya.
Managed via one data services. Parang example is ito. Dito sa
Kasi, oo.
base
Siyempre
provisioning.
yung cost, din effectiveness,
Yes.
kailangan natin i-check.
Para-
Hindi naman pwedeng lahat ng namin, pasok namin doon sa
Yes.
mission critical. Yung load niya is hindi naman pang mission critical.
Tama po. So parang ganito, you have the 6,000 for the business critical and you have the 9,000 for mission critical. So ikaw yung mamimili kung saan best fit. May recommendation lang kung saan itatakbo yung workloads natin. So you
Oo,
can
pero
have that.
pwede siyang dalawang controller sa sa isang setup niyan, like, isang infrastructure.
No, it's two separate infrastructure pero you can manage it under one pane of glass. Dalawang box siya, kumbaga.
Pero magkakakitaan sila or hindi?
Yes.
Yung management nila.
Yes po.
Just like parang halimbawa naman, may isa pang case if in the future, itag siya as, ito yung naisip ko, itag siya as critical, pwede siyang i-transfer from non-critical na storage to critical na storage, parang ganun.
Possible
Meron
naman.
bang possible na ganun? Mag-move yung data between two controllers?
Yes po, kasi if you have, syempre as long as the required connection is there, nakikita sila for example sa SAN networking nyo or sa iSCSI networking nyo or sa network nyo, pwede kang mag-move, yung mobility ng data mo can be transferred. So pwede mong i-migrate papunta sa kabilang array or so on. Yeah, pwede siya.
Sige. Thanks.
Okay, so I think that Actually, I think that ends at least
Oo.
the initial portfolio presentation, ma'am. So this covers only the servers and